Hi, and welcome to the WVU Football Sports Chat at theDpost.com. I'm Sean Manning, here with our WVU football beat writer, Joey LaMonaco. How are you, Joey?
I'm good, Sean. Thanks for those chips. I kind of needed a little bit of a snack to tide me over there, so I really appreciate it.
No problem. I do what I can. We've reached the regular season finale. It's finally here. WVU goes back to Kansas to take on Kansas State this week. And Kansas State is one of those teams that WVU hasn't beaten since they've joined the Big 12, the other being Oklahoma. But it goes back way further than that. They haven't beaten Kansas State since before World War II.
Yeah, I actually had to look it up. The Mountaineers haven't beaten the Wildcats since the Herbert Hoover administration, so the old flapper days. I think Prohibition was probably still, kind of the thing in vogue, and the forward pass was not yet in vogue. So it's been a while. Most notably, though, what this current iteration of WVU is thinking about are the three previous years in the Big 12 where they haven't been able to knock off K-State. Right now, it's just Oklahoma and Kansas State left in terms of teams they haven't yet beaten since they joined the league. So that's one motivating factor for them.
Last year was Skylar Howard's first significant playing time came against Kansas State after Clint Trickett was knocked out of the game. What has changed in Howard's game since he first came into the game last year against Kansas State?
Yeah, I asked Dana Holgorsen about that on Tuesday at his press conference, and he said it was really a short conversation when Clint went down, obviously with concussions, and he was not in a good place at the time, as Holgs noted. But quick conversation on the sideline. Can you do this? And Howard said something to the effect of, "Yeah, let's go play ball." And Dana just kind of shrugged and was like, "All right, let's do it." And he played pretty well in that game. He actually threw 2 touchdowns. And 2 players, senior Cody Clay, junior Tyler Orlowski, they both retold me the same anecdote where they were near the goal line and Orlo, as they call him, the center, who's kind of the captain of that offensive line, saw something that made him want to change the play. And Cody remembered this very similarly, and Skylar kind of shut them down. Skylar was like, "No, we're running the play we have," and he ended up throwing a little slant to Kevin White for a touchdown. So displayed leadership and displayed command of that huddle very, very early when he became the guy. And that's one thing that teammates have never questioned about Howard. He's still got a ways to go in terms of his performance on the field. The passing game is not where Dana wants it to be. It's not where Skylar wants it to be. But, he really took control early on.
Since coming into the Big 12, WVU hasn't been able to get to 8 wins. They finished 7-6 twice. What do they have to do Saturday, or what's the significance of getting 8 wins in this conference, which they could do Saturday with a win?
Well, it's as simple as it sounds. It's one more than they've ever gotten in the Dana Holgorsen era, and a reporter kind of asked me, "What would it mean to you, Dana?" And he kind of shot back, it means progress, doesn't it? And it does. Everyone knew there were going to be peaks and valleys in this conference realignment to the Big 12. There's a geographical challenge for WVU being the easternmost member of the conference. It's a different style of play than the Big East was. So to get to 8 wins, to get to 6 Big 12 wins with really only losing those 4 in a row to the big dogs, that would mean a lot to this team. It would mean a lot to Dana Holgorsen moving forward. It would help with recruiting, but as I say, it's just one more game.
And the defensive line seems like they've really picked it up the past couple of weeks. All 3 starters, Christian Brown, Kyle Rose, and Noble Nwachukwu, had sacks last week against Iowa State. What's been the difference with them?
It's really just finishing, and that sounds simple, that sounds trite and cliche, but they were really getting into the backfield in almost every game prior. They were harassing the quarterbacks. They just weren't making the tackles. The whole reason that viral Trevon Boykin, Dana Holgorsen DAP slap happened is because probably 2 or 3 defensive linemen had their hands on Boykin and couldn't bring him down. So that game, nose tackle Kyle Rose told me, kind of forced them to reassess where they were as a defensive line, kind of forced them to reassess, can we really bring guys to the ground? And they've shown that they can. Rose was, as you mentioned, all 3 defensive linemen in that front came up with a sack. Rose sacked Joel Lanning. He stuck with Lanning, who's a pretty mobile guy, I think you'd agree, about 14 yards in the backfield after Lanning initially broke free. So they're really determined to not just, I think what the term Rose used was step on their toes and smell their breath. That's what the approach they want to take when they're wrapping up quarterbacks, and they've really set upon that recently.
All right, well, we'll see if that trend will continue Saturday when the Mountaineers take on Kansas State. Please tune into thedpost.com for more WVU football coverage.